Hello everyone, Karen the Warp Spinster here. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad to have you sewing with me today. Please consider liking and subscribing if you like what you're watching here. Today, I am going to sort of continue with our wonky fence idea. Last week we talked about another possibility being doing multiple strips instead of just one representing a wire, such as we did with the chicken wire. So that will actually be a spiderweb quilt, and I'm good with that. Let's try that. It's a good way to do scraps, and there are options for how we might change it up, and probably we could all do something a little different, and none of us would have the same one. So I have some of my scrap strip pile here. And then I also have some 2.5 inch strips from must be a Tula Pink. Yes, Tula Pink collection that I think I might use. And then of course I have black strips, white strips, and black and white strips. And we can play with all of those. So I think we'll start out with just a very scrappy kind of thing I'm going to try to find some longish strips because we have, well, I guess it wouldn't really have to be, but we will have a pretty, if we're going to be cutting the triangles, we're going to be needing quite a long strip, although I guess as it happens, we're probably going to have to have multiple strips. So to begin with, I'm going to use strips from my scrap pile, my stash pile of strips. And we're going to be cutting triangles from these, of course, and the wider this strip set gets, then the larger those triangles are going to be, and the fewer we're going to get out of the strip set. So I think, at least to begin with, I don't want to make these too wide, and I had thought about trying to do them long enough so that I could do all of the triangles from the same strip set, but I don't think that's going to happen with these scraps because I just don't have very many that are long enough. So we're going to go with a multiple strip set, very scrappy spider web, which I think is going to be a little wowza for the eyes, but let's give it a try. We're all about exploring. Sometimes we like what we do and sometimes we don't. It will teach us something though, and that's really what we're all about. So I'm going to sew these together and then probably do another strip set, which will be roughly the same width, but I can always trim it down at the end so that they match going around the hexagon. So that's my first step on the spider web. I have a strip set finished and ready to cut my 60-degree triangles. And I'm choosing to do it from this end because I already have an angle, so it feels like I will lose less fabric. I didn't do such a very good job of pressing there. Straighten it out. Okay, now we are going to do 60-degree angles here. And of course, just for fun, I have chosen the top to be pinked edges. So I will just aim for the top of the pinked edges. Measurement doesn't really matter here. All right, and there's our first cut. And now we can do 60-degree angles, and you can see these are going to be pretty large triangles in comparison to some we did the other day, but that is what we'll be working with. 2 and 3. Looks like we will get just 3 out of here, but that's all right. Now on the next strip set, I want to try something different, and I guess on several things I want to try, and we're going to do it on different spider webs here. Sorry, my words are coming to me slowly today for some reason. So we have half of a spider web here, and I'm going to do a strip set that is all solids, just for comparison's sake. I have put in a couple of solids here just because I want the eye to have some room to rest so that it doesn't have too much print and chaos going on. And I like solids. I know you don't all like solids, but I like solids, so we'll just do a compromise on this one, and then I'll do all solids for the next strip set, and we'll probably alternate them, but we'll see what happens. In this strip set, I have all solids. All right, I got 2 out of it, and I am so close to having a third. So I am going to just stick a little piece on there and then cut it. I'm going to lose most of it in the seam, but not all of it. And I've got a little scrap here. I could put it on that direction or straight up. But I'm just going to stitch that on. Will that give me enough after I do the 1/4 inch? I mean, we're using up scraps, right? So yes, I think that'll be okay. I probably have a bigger piece of that somewhere. So I'm going to do that because I'm just not going to waste this one, and I need a third one anyway. Who'll know? We'll know, but no one else. I could also do something funky like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I could put in just a little piece of, say, a black and white stripe. This is my finger giggle. All right, I used a larger piece than I strictly needed to just because I wanted that little bit of black and white stripe in there. You may be able to see where I'm going to go with this whole thing. Come on, Karen. You know how to line things up. Oh, we're going to make it. It's going to be not quite, but it's going to be close enough that will be in the seam. All right, we will end up with liking this idea. See, if you play with something long enough, you come up with an idea, right? And then that one, and then we have another one of those, and then we have this one. And I'm not going to sew these together yet because we may want to try different combinations, and I'd like having that little bit up here. So are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is that we do little confetti things in here like we did on the log cabin? Wouldn't that be fun? And do we want to do black and white confetti, or do we want to do, it doesn't have to be black and white stripes. I have other black and whites, or we could do plain white or plain black. Oh, that could be a lot of fun. I actually like this block too. It's got a little bit of pop with this purple, but things tie in together with some of the common colors of fabrics, and we've got a mix of solids and prints. I think it's kind of a striking look, honestly. So we like that, but let's try the whole confetti thing. What do you think? I like that idea. Now I may do that with, so we'll make that a keeper probably, with just that one little spit of black and white. I'm thinking maybe I will use these. I don't know about the raccoon. Oh, he'll fit in there exactly, but if we do strip sets with these, and put in, isn't that interesting? It has all of the colors in the collection. Well, I guess there's a little bit of that pink in there. Now I don't know if I want these to stay 2.5 inches wide, or if I want to cut them down a bit. It's kind of a shame to cut them down, and I've got a lot of length because this is a jelly roll. So this would be a way you could use pieces of jelly roll that you haven't used. If you've got a pattern that just uses 36 of them or something and you have some left, you could do a scrappy one with this. This is going to be kind of coordinated because they're all from the same collection, but I don't know. What do you think about that one? I guess it'd be all right up there. And then splice in some confetti. Let me see what I can come up with for some confetti. Here are some options. If I'm being perfectly honest, I love this one. Well, I bought this online, and I guess I hadn't really visualized how wide this stripe was going to be, and I wondered how the heck I was ever going to use this, but I don't know. I'm kind of loving it in here. I have to think about, it's going to be cut at an angle. Let me find something here I can use so it will turn out being a triangular shape when I cut the triangle. And how do I feel about that? Sorry, I just leaned against the table where I put the I can't win. Sorry, I'm just giving you a wobbly sort of funhouse experience here, aren't I? So, do we in fact want to do that? Do we want to splice them in at an angle? Maybe the opposing angle, so that it cuts across like that. That would be, what we need to do is think about this just spliced into one of these strips, not the whole set. And then if we cut it at, say, that angle. Trouble is, it may also get cut at, say, that angle. And are we all right with that? All we can do is try, yes? So let's do a strip set that has various confetti in it. Trying it at maybe different angles. Is that what we want to do? It is a puzzlement. And then one going that direction. And do we want these pieces to also be skewed? We should do one thing at a time, shouldn't we? All right, I'm going to try doing these and maybe at different angles so we see how that turns out. And I won't do it on everything. We'll have some pieces that don't have that and some pieces that do. And I think I'll make it pretty narrow because I want just, I mean, this is confetti, so I just want small pieces, and this will be confetti caught in the web. Let's give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? We'll hate it. Won't be the first time. I did a variety of theoretical confetti pieces. We'll see how they turn out. This is a 60-degree angle going that way, 60-degree angle going that way, and then just some random black and white stripe, black and white print, and a solid. And we'll see how that looks when I cut them into 60-degree triangles. It's not bad. It's not the confetti so much as the other log cabin we did, which I forget what I named it, but where we just sliced into it, so it's less little bits in there. If we wanted to do that, we would, of course, need to split a part of these and put in little bits, which I might do. I have more strip left, so I could sprinkle in some confetti and see how we like that. And I only need 2 more here, so we could see what happens. I don't hate this, actually. I do like it being straight up and down rather than at an angle. But it's nice to do a little bit of wonky in there. I'm afraid I'm going to lose all that in the seam, which is a shame because I really like that. So I'm going to do a strip set where when I split it, I will put just a small piece of something in there and then use that as one of the strips. Just to let you know a little more visually what I'm doing here, I have cut these into varying widths of sections at various spacing and then inserted strips of varying widths at varying places on those strips. And then these will all be sewed together and I will trim it up so it's even. I have different widths here, so of course those are not going to turn out to be straight any longer. So I will trim that up and then do something similar with maybe one other strip. Only I will try doing black and white and maybe a bright color so we can compare them. And here's the confetti strip set. I angled it over here so I could hopefully eke out a little more on the triangles, but I think we're probably only going to get 2 anyway, so I will cut those and we'll come back and see how they fit with these. Now, as you can see, we got only 2 out of that because the strip set was so wide. And we lost this little bit, and we're going to lose that in the seam. So it's just one of those things, I guess, that's going to happen if you do confetti this way. Question is, do we like it well enough to do it that way? Or do we want to do it more like this? What do you think? I don't know, actually. I thought I was going to like the confetti better, but I'm not sure that I don't like this sort of effect better. I made the blocks too big, the triangles too big. I think I really like this kind of effect better. The confetti, it's so easy for it to get lost in seams or in the cutting, and I'm just not as fond of it. I think I like this better. Let me know what you think and what other ideas you have. We've looked at just 3 different options today. One which is a pretty standard spider web, I guess, with scrap strips, some solid, alternating with some that have some print in it, and then a little bit here to finish out that corner. And I really like that little bit. I think it wouldn't hurt to slip in some others there and probably end up with more triangles when you're just that little bit short on a point. Then we looked at slicing and splicing here, and I quite liked it, but then we wanted to take a look at just doing confetti, and I honestly, that's not my favorite. You can let me know what you think, but I would rather do this or this, but then I tend to like solids more, so that's not surprising. I wonder what would happen if we swapped out a couple of these like that, and then put in these. I guess we could do them opposite if we wanted to be a little bit anal about it, and that's okay too. So I think the scrap is all right, and I think they'd go together fine. Now these are definitely color coordinated, but they wouldn't have to be. My tendency would be to do all solids because I'm a solids person, but some of you are not, so you might be tempted to do all prints. If you do, I would just say do one as a sample and then check and see if you think the eye needs a place to rest. So of course another thing we could have done was to put in thin strips of either white or black and white in between the strips, just to see if that would give it some rest and a little bit of difference from just a standard spider web, although there's nothing wrong with the standard spider web. I do like having these bits in there. I really do. So that might be where I would go with that one. But maybe we'll explore that. Well, we kind of did that with the chicken wire last week, but it might be interesting to see what it does. And we haven't yet explored what would happen if we skewed some of these. So maybe we'll take a look at that next time. And in the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think, what changes you might do, and what else you might like to see that we could take a look at next week. I'm almost wondering, what if we did strips in between here? So lots we can still explore. I think that'll be it for this week. Next week, we'll either do that or something else I have in mind. We'll see what happens between now and then. So I hope to see you then. And in the meantime, be well, be safe, be happy, be quilting. Peace out.